Hi guys, how are you? I welcome you all once again to the awesome and amazing session on class 11th chemistry, chapter number 2, atomic structure. In lecture number 1, we have completed with Dalton's atomic theory, subatomic particles with their discoveries, and we have completed the atomic models of Thomson and Rutherford. In this lecture, we are going to deal with development leading to the Bose model of atom. Bose was the third scientist who had given his postulates and his models on the atomic structures. So in this lecture we are going to deal with basically the 5 topics which have been listed below. The 5 topics are the electromagnetic spectrum, Planck's quantum theory, photoelectric effect, electromagnetic spectrum, and dual behavior of electromagnetic radiation. So starting with the theory, historically, results observed from the study of interaction of radiation with matters have provided immense information regarding the structure of atoms and molecules. Till now, as we have studied the two models, they have given immense information about how the structure of atom is and how the molecular structure belongs. And the third scientist, which was Niels Bohr, utilized this result to improve upon the model proposed by Rutherford. Niels Bohr made an improvement in the model which was proposed by Rutherford. Two developments played a major role in the formulation of Bohr's model. The two major formulations were given below. The first one, the dual nature of electromagnetic spectrum, which means that radiation possesses both wave-like and particle-like properties, which we are going to prove now in our lecture. And the second is experimental results regarding atomic spectra, which can be explained only by assuming quantized electronic energy level in atom, which we are going to study in next lecture. So moving further, we are going to deal with the wave nature of an electromagnetic radiation. So first scientist which gave his postulates on electromagnetic radiation was James Maxwell. He was the first to give a comprehensive explanation about the interaction between charged bodies and their behavior of electrical and magnetic field on macroscopic level, means the lights which were visible at it has been stated as macroscopic level. He suggested that when electrically charged particles move under acceleration, alternating electric and magnetic field are produced and transmitted. These fields are transmitted in the forms of waves called electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations. So Maxwell was again the first to reveal that light waves are associated with oscillating electric and magnetic character. As a result, he concluded that when electron moves, it accelerates. As it accelerates, it starts producing an alternating electrical and magnetic field which are perpendicular. Let us study with help of an animation which has been shown over here. Here you can see that the blue color is the path of or the waves which has been traveling, and the red light and the green arrow, this red and green are the perpendicular waves which are electric field and magnetic field. This can be seen through this animation. You can see that the red one shown over here stands for electric field and the green one for the magnetic field. They both are perpendicular to the propagation of waves. It means that the blue ray over here shows us the propagation of waves. Moving further, we are going to see the results which was been observed by this experiment. The oscillating electric and magnetic field produced by oscillated charge are perpendicular to each other, and both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave, as we have seen through this animation only, that the magnetic field and electric field both are perpendicular to each other. Now, unlike sound waves or water waves, electromagnetic waves does not require any material medium to move. It means it can move in vacuum only. The third point here is, it is now well established that there are many types of electromagnetic radiation which differ one another in wavelength or frequency. The wavelength, what do you mean by wavelength? Wavelength has been shown in the downward animation, that when electromagnetic waves move, let us take only the example of an electric field, and the distance between two crests is known as lambda, or it is denoted by lambda and is known as wavelength. This constitutes what is the electromagnetic spectrum. So moving further, let us first clarify the main terms which we need to understood about the waves before starting this chapter. So wavelength is the first topic. It is the distance between two identical points of consecutive wave. It means the distance between two consecutive crests or between two consecutive trough is known as wavelength. The second is amplitude. You can see that the maximum height up to which the maximum distance between origin and the crest or a trough is known as amplitude. The frequency is the number of waves that passes a point per unit time, and speed is, as we clear that, wavelength into frequency. Now let us see that what is atomic spectrum. You can see that a spectral series has been shown over here and this is only the visible region. This much is the visible region in which the 7 colors are being shown to us. You can just go through it, is very easy, and the wavelength are being given over here. There are basically 7 types of wave which are being shown over here. Lights wave, these are radio waves, microwaves, infrared radiations, visible lights, ultraviolet radiations, X-rays and gamma rays. We can see only in the visible range, as it is clear. Now let us see a question from NCERT book only. It is problem 2.4. The question states that the wavelength range of the visible spectrum extends from violet, which is its wavelength has been given as 400 nanometer, to red, which is 750 nanometer. You need to express this wavelength in terms of frequency. So we know that frequency is equal to speed of light divided by lambda. So finding the frequency for the frequency of violet, we get it as 7.5 into 10 to the power 14 Hertz, and similarly for red it is 4 into 10 to the power 14 Hertz. So the range of visible spectrum will be clearly this form, 4 into 10 to the power 14 to the 7.5 into 10 to the power 14 Hertz in terms of frequency unit. So let us move further. So now we are going to deal with the Planck's quantum theory. So the Planck's quantum theory was again a particle nature of electromagnetic radiation. It means it has explained us the particle nature of electromagnetic radiations. So some of the experimental phenomena such as diffraction and interference can be explained by the wave nature of the electromagnetic radiation. Before going in deep, we need to clarify what is diffraction, what is interference. These two terms are basically of physics, which are going to be mainly dealt in class 12th physics, where you will study about deep in it. But let us see about a quick review on this. So the diffraction versus interference differentiation has been shown over here. A phenomena whereby in certain points of space the wave oscillates are amplitude, while in other are annular, and spreading waves behind cracks of obstacle. It means when a light passes through an obstacle, the waves which are produced is known as interference, and the mixing of two waves is an example of diffraction. You can just understand it by simple words. You can see an example animation has been shown that when you stuck two balls on water, you can see that the diffraction pattern has been causing over here. So you can see that these are the diffraction pattern which have been shown over here. So moving further, let us see observation which could not be explained with the help of even the electromagnetic wave theory. So there are basically 4 observations which is not explained by the electromagnetic theory in 19th century. The first was the nature of emission of radiation from hot bodies. It was known as black body radiation. It was not explained by it. The second was ejection of electron from metal surface when radiation strikes it. It is photoelectric effect, which we are going to study. The third is variation of heat capacity of solid as a function of temperature, and the fourth one is line spectra of atom with special reference to hydrogen only. So basically we are going to deal about hydrogen in this topic only mainly. So moving further, let us see what are black body radiations. When a solid are heated, they emit radiation over a wide range of wavelength. For example, when an iron rod is heated in a furnace, it first turns into dull red, then it progressively become more and more red. As the temperature increases, as this is heated further, the radiation emitted become white and then become blue as the temperature become very high. In terms of frequency, it means the frequency of radiation emit goes from a lower frequency to higher frequency. As the color changes has been shown, as we can see, we have seen that when an iron rod is heated on fire, we can see that a transmission of color took place. This is a simple example of black body radiation, but it means that there is a change in frequency from a lower level frequency to the higher level of frequency. You can see the lower frequency to higher frequency as the temperature increase. The red color lies in the lower frequency region, while blue color belongs to the higher frequency region. The ideal body which emits, and you can just highlight this point, the ideal body which emits or absorbs radiation of all frequency is called a black body, and the radiation which it emits is such type of radiation are known as black body radiation. So here we have completed the black body radiation topic. So moving further, I have given you a just graph between spectral radiancy and wavelength. You can see that the iron has been shown over here, that how does the color transmission take place. You can see that the temperature increase. As the temperature increase, you can see that the wavelength goes on decreasing. Moving further, we are going to deal as that at a given temperature, intensity of a radiation emits increase with decrease in wavelength. As a result, you can see that as the radiation emitted increase, means intensity of the radiation increase, the wavelength will definitely decrease. And then we can say that the intensity of a light or radiation is inversely proportional to the wavelength. Reaches its maximum value at a given wavelength, then start decreasing, further decrease wavelength. You can see that it reaches a maximum value in all the cases, and then it partly decreased down. So the above experimental result cannot be explained satisfactorily on the basis of wave theory of light. So Planck suggested that atoms and molecules could emit energy only in a discrete quantities and not in continuous manner. It means they radiate energy in discrete, means in different subsections. A belief of popular at that time, Planck gave the name quantum. Here you can see the Planck gave a name quantum to the smallest quantity of the energy that can be emitted or absorbed in form of electromagnetic radiation, and this was known as quanta. It is known as the discrete energy packets, which we are going to study. And at a result, he got an equation which is known as E equal to h nu, where E stands for energy of the electromagnetic radiation, h is the Planck's constant, and nu stands for frequency of radiation. The value of Planck constant has been shown over here. It is 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joules second. So now we are going to deal with the photoelectric effect. In 1887, Hertz performed a very interesting experiment in which electrons were ejected when certain metals such as potassium, rubidium and cesium were exposed to a beam of light. Hence a result, it was known as a photoelectric effect. You can just see it. I have shown you an animation over here. What is a photoelectric effect? You can just see it. When the ray of light falls on the cathode, the electrons are emitted from it to the anode, and as a result it again comes to the cathode. You can see again that when the light rays fall on the cathode, it emits electron and that just pass through the tube. This is known as photoelectric effect. A high voltage battery has been connected here, and you can just see it. Now the result observed in the experiment, where the electron are ejected from the metal surface as soon as the beam of light strikes the surface. You can see as soon as the light ray falls on the metal surface, the electrons are ejected from the system. There is no time lag between the striking of light beams and the ejection of electron from the metal surface. It means the process is very quick. The number of electron ejected is proportional to the intensity or brightness of light. It means the N is equal to the intensity, where N stands for number of electron ejected, is equal to the intensity of the or brightness of the light. For each metal there is a characteristic minimum frequency which is known as threshold frequency. It is very good, interesting term, you should remember it, below which photoelectric effect is not observed. It means to observe a photoelectric effect, a minimum frequency which is known as threshold frequency should be there with the to the light, so that the photoelectric emission can take place. Now, all the above result could not be explained on the basis of just classical physics. According to the latter, the energy content of the beam of light depends upon the brightness of light. In other words, the number of electrons ejected and the kinetic energy associated with them should depend on the brightness of light. It means more the kinetic energy of the system, more is the brightness of light. It has been observed that though the number of electrons ejected does not depend upon brightness of light, the kinetic energy of the ejected element does not depend on light. So according to this, Einstein gave his theory: when a photon of sufficient energy strikes an electron in the atom of the metal, it transfers its energy instantaneously to the electron during collision. It means when a photon transfers its energy to an electron during the collision and the electron is ejected without any lag or delay. Greater the energy possessed by photon, greater will be the transfer of energy to electron, and given greater the kinetic energy of the ejected electron. So according to it, he gives an equation which is known as Einstein equation. It is equal to half mv square equal to h nu minus h nu naught, where nu naught is the h nu naught is the work function, or it is simply, you can see that this equation has been Einstein's equation. It has been shown over here that when a light or photon just fall on the metal surface, work function is been subtracted and the photoelectron are been ejected from the metal surface. So now we are going to study the dual behavior of electromagnetic radiation. So work function, before going in dual behavior, we are going to see what is work function. So work function is defined as the minimum amount of energy required by an electron to escape from a metal surface. It is the minimum energy which must be provided to the metal surface so that the photoelectron emission can take place. Some example has been given over here. You need not to remember this value. Moving further, a particle nature of light poses a dilemma for scientists. It means it was a confusion for scientists because on one of the hand it could explain the black body radiation and photoelectric effect satisfactorily, but on the other hand it was not consistent with known wave behavior of light, which could account for the phenomena of interference diffraction. The only way to resolve the dilemma was to accept the idea that light possesses both particles and wave-like property. As a result, light has a dual behavior. Hence, at the one corner of the end, the light shows black body radiation as well as photoelectric effect, but on the other hand, it also shows the diffraction and interference pattern. So here one is the property of particle nature and other is the property of wave nature. As a result, both the result are supporting the same rule. Hence, at last they concluded the light has a dual behavior. It means it can act as a particle as well, it can act as a wave as well. So an example has been given from NCERT. We need to calculate the energy of 1 mole of photon of radiation when frequency has been given. So energy is equal to h nu, as you know. Putting just the value, we get energy as 3.313 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. So energy of 1 mole of photon will be equal to energy into the Avogadro's number. You can just multiply it by it and we get the answer as it's approximately 200 kilojoules. The next example, you can see over here that the threshold frequency h nu naught of metal is given. So we are given with the threshold frequency, which is 7 into 10 to the power 14 second inverse. We need to calculate the kinetic energy of the electron emitted and the radiation has been given. So we need to just find the kinetic energy. It is the but obvious formula that h nu naught minus nu naught. So putting just the value, get answer as 1.98 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. So friends, here we have completed with the basically the Bohr's theory and about photoelectric effect, the dual behavior of matter. We have dealt with the interference and diffraction patterns. We have also seen the Planck's quantum theory. In the next lecture, we are going into the hydrogen spectra and the atomic spectra and the energy levels, which we are going to study in next lecture. So friends, thank you for watching.